Hey everybody, it's your man Air Jordan 14 back with a new video. Long last performance review. It's going to be a little different. It's not on a basketball shoe. It's on a trainer, as you can see, the Nike Lunar TR1 Plus. So you know what? Let's just go ahead and get right into it. Now, as usual, I always start with the inner. And those of you who've seen my videos, I say the same thing every time, but there may be new people to the channel, so I'll explain why I do this. It doesn't matter how good shoes fit, cushioning, traction, support, all those things are. If there's something wrong with the inner that makes the shoe uncomfortable to wear, then all of those features, no matter how great they may be, are rendered useless because you're not going to wear the shoe. So I start from that point and work my way out. Now, and I'm going to unlace them to kind of get in here. The material that lines the inner of the shoe, and this is really becoming more and more of a staple in most modern athletic shoes, is fairly smooth to the touch, as you can see. And try to zoom in. There's no real raised seams or anything that's going to cause you any problems. It is lined. The tongue is a fairly slightly breathable material. The inner, so from that standpoint, I didn't have any issues with chafing or hot spots or anything of that nature, so we were good there. Now, starting with the bottom. Now, most of you are used to me doing shoes on basketball, and I harp on traction. You need traction for no matter what shoe you're doing if you're going to be moving about. If it's an outdoor shoe, if it's a, whatever. With this being a cross trainer, you are doing a variety of activities and potentially in a variety of places in which you have this faceted outsole pattern here. The outsole, it's something that's akin to herringbone here, and then you've got almost this, almost a pattern you'd see like on a turf shoe. For gripping if you're doing some outdoor things or whatnot. And then right here you've got that same, zoom in a little closer so you can see, there's more herringbone style. And like I say, I use these, and I am using these in my physical therapy sessions because a lot of the things that we do in there would fall into the cross-training category. Even now I'm doing more side-to-side movements and things of that nature. Box jumping, doing some things where I'm moving side to side and where traction and grip are paramount. And I'm pleased to say that this particular pattern, it provided great traction. I didn't experience any slipping. I mean, it really gripped the floor well. It kept me in place. And when you're dealing with an injury, and even when you're, in my situation, where you're doing things to where, I'm doing some things where I'm not in my brace, so I need that type of traction to make sure that everything that needs to stop moving does move, and anything that needs to keep moving continues. And the traction allowed me to do that. It was really confidence inspiring. The rubber on here, it is stiff. It is a stiff rubber, but it's not so much so as to where it's going to be too stiff to grip the floor. It's just firm enough. And I think that's so you can use it both in an indoor and an outdoor setting. So the traction was very good from that standpoint. Now we're going to slide up the midsole here to the cushioning. Now you've got a Lunar Lawn midsole, full length, and then you've got it augmented with a Zoom Air unit in the heel. I was actually very pleased with the traction. I've worn my Lunar Hyper Dunks around a little bit. I've shot in them, so I was happy with it, though I'm not that versed in it. And wearing these was really my first opportunity to get into the shoe in more of a performance or active arena rather than just casual. And I was very pleased with the amount of cushioning that the Lunar provided. Nike's really come a long way with their application and implementation of the Lunar foam, where on some of the initial offerings that had it would bottom out and whatnot. In this particular incarnation in the TR1, it did a great job of impact protection, of course. It even gives you some cushion feel and some responsiveness, which I really enjoyed. So it really felt good. The zoom mirror, I mean, it's embedded in here. I didn't really notice it, and I had to actually dig around to see if the shoe even had it, but it does have it in the heel. It does help. I think it's a smaller unit. It's not like a big 10 millimeter bag, because you just don't have that feel. If you're accustomed to zoom mirror and you're thinking that's what it's going to be, you know, the Lunar does such a good job, you almost don't notice it. So I guess that's a testament to the to how well the cushioning does on this particular shoe. And that includes jumping, all the things that we were doing, moving back and forth, some of the ladder stuff. The cushioning has held up over the past 8 weeks very well. So it's going to last you quite a while from that standpoint. Now moving up to the upper here, what you've got is you've got a fused upper in some places, or a fused upper, and then you've got the outer layer that extends around the midfoot, over your toe box here, and even somewhat around to the medial side. The top layer is a mesh, and that really does help with your breathability, albeit it's not full. There's a screen, for lack of a better term, underneath it, so it does somewhat cut down on the amount of breathability that you have, but it is still a fairly breathable shoe. I will say it wasn't as noticeable as, say, something like the Air Max Flyby. That's one that comes to mind. But it was still very good. Particularly, it does a good job, because you have to remember this is the plus version, and you definitely don't want an exorbitant amount of moisture getting down in there to where those sensors and all of those things are. So for that reason, it needs to be breathable, and it did enough. It does the job in that area, and I didn't have any excessive moisture in my feet from that standpoint. And another, because I'm sure this question will come up, this is built on a fairly wide last. It's a fairly wide shoe, and I'm going to come back to that when I get into the fit. But if you have wide feet, because of the flexibility of the fuse, which gives you that flexibility and support, it's not as tough as, say, like on a Hyperfuse 2011 or 2012 or something like that. It's enough. If you have wide feet, you may want to give these a try to see if they'll accommodate you. I think if you have a wide, maybe like a 2E or something, this may be also a viable choice for you as well, just due to the flexibility and the pliability of the upper. Now, moving up to fit and support, I'm going to lump those together. It does a good job in this area, and I really have a bad habit of this, and I really need to work on it, of not lacing my shoes quite as tightly as I should, because initially, in terms of the heel fit, I was ready to say these suck, but then I just made the slight adjustment of, hello McFly, just tying them a little bit tighter, and that really alleviated that problem. So fit of the heel was good. Fit of the midfoot was very good as well. Hopefully I'm going to zoom in here so you can see it. You've got the fly wire here, and it's actually integrated into the lacing system a la LeBron 10 or something to that effect. So as you lace the shoe up, the fly wire pulls, and then you see the cables run from here and here, and it helps to pull not only to enhance fit, but to help lock down your midfoot as well. And it really did a great job, and I didn't have any movement inside the shoe except the first time I wore it. But then remember, I wasn't lacing them all the way up. What was happening, because my foot was kind of moving around in the shoe, and it was bumping up against the front of the shoe, and I had some pain in the front of my foot. But after I made that adjustment of tying it up correctly, all that went away, and it was a joy from a fit standpoint to work in. The support was there. It kept my foot on the footbed. I said you do have these sections of fuse here that wrap around, and you've got it both on the medial and the lateral side, and that does a great job of assisting to keep your foot They're almost like a guardrail. Helps to keep your foot into the footbed and doesn't let you slide around, which is really important if you're in physical therapy for an injury. You don't want that to happen at all. So fit was really good. It really locks everything down in place. So the materials are good. So overall, my assessment of the Lunar TR1 is very good. It's a versatile trainer you can use, in the gym whether you're lifting weights. If you're doing cross training, perhaps even Zumba, but my understanding is you want something where you can turn, and these may grip the floor a little too well for that. But some of your other activities, what is it called? Insanity. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say stupidity. But those type workouts as well, these would be excellent for that. Anything where you're doing a lot of that. If you're going to use them for running, I would say if you do maybe 5 to 12 miles a week, these would be able to get the job done. But if you're a high mileage guy, you probably want to go more the route of a pure runner. But overall, I think these are a great cross-training shoe. If you can find them, you can probably find them for well below retail all over the place. It would definitely be worth it to give these guys a shot. I do recommend them. I didn't do much as far as the workouts, just because my condition, I'm not able to do that at this time. But if you'd like me to do a review of some of those workouts, just let me know in the comment section. And once I get fully cleared 100%, I'll do that video at a later time. But this is your Air Jordan 14 signing out, finishing up another performance review. Wishing everyone peace, love, and soul.